If you've been following the Idaho 4 case, you know that Kaylee Goncalves' family, her parents, and her dad, Steve, especially, have been outspoken in media outlets talking about their experience of dealing with the aftermath of this crime and their communication with investigators. They've talked about really all aspects of this crime that I can think of, really, that they know about. And that includes how they feel about people that would be likely suspects or people that have been named suspects. And in that group, we can include Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, Jack D. It's notable to point out that recently, Katie's father, Steve, was talking about the guy that we heard Kaylee and Maddi talking about in that recently released security camera footage where they're walking down the street from the corner club to the grub truck, and Kaylee says, "Maddi, what did you tell Adam?" And Maddi says, "I told Adam everything." When the reporter brings up this Adam guy to Steve, he very quickly dismisses Adam as being a possible suspect, as does Steve's lawyer. Take a listen.
Then we did the obvious due diligence when we looked into that, and it was pretty clear that this individual was not a part of the investigation as far as a suspect.
Now, in my opinion, it is notable that Kaylee's father spoke out saying that this guy, Adam, was clearly not a suspect so quickly, yet he has still yet to speak out, saying that her former boyfriend, Jack D, is not a suspect. Now, I'm not saying that that necessarily makes Jack D a suspect. I'm just saying that it's notable. On the other hand, we certainly can observe that Kaylee's mother and sister have spoken out vocally and often, pronouncing Jack as an innocent person in this entire situation and stating that he absolutely, positively could not be guilty. We're going to listen to several news clips that have quotes from Kaylee's mother and sister talking about Kaylee's former boyfriend, Jack D. Take a listen. The first time we hear Kaylee's mother and sister reference Jack D, they don't name him specifically, but it's their first sit-down interview that I'm aware of, at least, and they are talking about the calls that Katie made after she got home from being out at the corner club and the grub truck to a person that they had not named yet. Here's what they have to say.
So she was on my mom's cell plan, so
We pulled my cell plan.
on Sunday I was able to pull those cell records.
And you could see that she was calling somebody out.
Yeah.
Does it seem like they may have been involved, or does it seem like
No.
No, not at all. Kaylee had no shame in kind of power calling. So it fits Kaylee.
Yeah. And we know who she was calling, and this person is, and this person was asleep, unfortunately, was not getting the calls. And it was, I don't know, a few calls for half an hour. She called him a couple times, but no. It was not, we do not believe she was calling him for help. We believe that she was just calling him to come over. If Kaylee was in imminent danger, her or Maddi, they would have called 911. They would not have been calling this person. Yeah.
And that was around 2.
Yeah. So at that time we
Started
believe
around 2:30.
Yeah. We believe that the girls were just fine.
So from those phone records, it looks like the girls may have been alive around 2:30.
2:30 is what the last call?
No, the last call is shortly before 3 a.m.
Sure. Yeah, that's right. 2:50 something.
2:52 for both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you heard there, and this interview was very early on, Kelly's mother and sister both maintained that Jack had absolutely nothing to do with this tragedy, although he wasn't named. It's clear that they were talking about Jack. The next clip we're going to listen to is a telephone interview with Kelly's parents, and, well, here's what they have to say.
We keep hearing this name Jack and phone calls going back and forth. Can you tell us anything about that?
We love Jack. Absolutely love Jack. We stand behind Jack 1,000%. Jack was Kaylee's boyfriend for many years. They just recently broke up. There was no animosity at all. It was a breakup on Kaylee's point. It was not, they still talked every single day. Kaylee just thought that she needed a little break. They were on the mend of getting back together. Kaylee talked to Jack the whole time she was here for that week and a half.
One of her last messages, she reached out to Jack and said, "Jack, get back to me." And he didn't. She goes, we share a dog together, which they did. She's like, you need to reach out to me. So
Please come over. She was wanting Jack to come over. Jack is not. They're wasting their time with Jack, and Jack is just as distraught as we are. Jack is our family. Jack is 100%, 2,000% our family, and Jack is with us, and we stand behind him 100%. We're supporting him, and we know in our hearts and our minds and our souls, in the depths of our souls, Jack is hurting, and Kaylee and Jack would have eventually been married. They would have eventually been married, and they would have eventually had children together. So to say ex-boyfriend, it was Kaylee just being a brat, being like, I just need a break. But Jack was in her heart, and they were close to getting back together, and that was just Kaylee being Kaylee.
So as you heard there in that interview, Kelly's mother was strongly defending Jack. She said that they stand behind him 1,000%. And, she was very animated and emphatic in her defense of Jack. An interesting point one of the channel subscribers and panel participants brought up last night, and that would be Sis Vicious, was when Kaylee's mom says in this interview they're wasting their time with Jack, it made her wonder, who is the mother referring to when she says they? Did they, meaning the parents, know something more than we did? Was Jack being scrutinized, being looked at intensely for a period of time that we did not know about? We really, of course, couldn't be sure about that, but I thought it was a very interesting point. In this next clip, we have an interview with Kelly's father, sister Olivia again, and Kelly's brother for the first time. So I think it's really interesting to hear what Kelly's brother has to say and to watch his mannerisms and his nonverbal indicators. So let's take a listen and look at what's going on in this interview, specifically when the family is asked about their support for Jack.
Your family has been very outspoken in support of Jack. He's Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. And on the Moscow police website, he is not listed, notably, as someone who has been cleared in the investigation. To your knowledge, is that significant?
No, I don't personally think so, because I think that there's the entire rest of the world that's also not on that list of people who have been cleared.
Right.
Including Maddi's boyfriend, including any associates of Xana or Ethan that might not be involved. I don't find that significant at all.
And there were a number of phone calls to him that night, and you say that would have been typical behavior for Kaylee, that she often would call friends, folks, for a whole bunch of things.
At any time, yeah. Multiple times until I would pick up at 3 a.m. and be like, Kaylee, what?
Yeah.
and some of the last footage of her at that food court, she's on her phone 24/7 filming the whole thing. So she lived on that phone. So
yeah.
In case you didn't catch it, I want you to notice how each of these family members responds when the interviewer asks the initial question about Jack not being cleared officially on the Moscow Police Department website. I'm going to zoom in so you can take a really careful look at this. Look at dad, look at brother, look at sister. It's very interesting.
Moscow Police website, he is not listed, notably, as someone who has been cleared in the investigation. To your knowledge, is that significant?
No, I don't personally think so, because I think that there's the entire rest of the world that's also not on that list of people who have been cleared.
Right.
Including Maddi's boyfriend, including any associates of Xana or Ethan that might not be involved. I don't find that significant at all.
And there were a number of phone calls to him that night, and you say that would have been typical behavior for Kaylee, that she often would call friends, folks, for a whole bunch of things.
Just in case you didn't catch all that, one more time.
Who has been cleared in the investigation. To your knowledge, is that significant?
No, I don't personally think so, because
So I'm sure that you saw the three distinctly different reactions there. Kaylee's sister, jumps right on that question. No, I personally don't think so. And then you watch Kaylee's brother, you see him raise his eyebrows and give an exaggerated head nod, yes, as to, without using words, state an emphatic yes. That is significant. And watching Dad is also very interesting. He purses his lips. He looks very pensive. And I personally think he really struggles with that question. I'm sure he does not want to believe that Jack had anything to do with it. And once again, guys, I'm not saying that he did. I think he understands that his family members are a little split on how they feel about the topic. And I think he's been pensive and he's thinking through this question with intensity. He has been from the beginning and he still is, in my opinion.
One of the points of speculation is that Kaylee had an ex-boyfriend. Phone logs show she made 7 calls to the ex that night. The police say it's a non-issue. What's your take?
Yeah, I completely agree. I could not be any happier to see that they have cleared him. From the beginning, I knew that it wasn't him, and I'm happy that they're focusing their attention somewhere else now.
So here, once again, picking up on what subscriber Sis Vicious pointed out last night, Kaylee's sister also uses terminology like, I'm glad that they're focusing on someone else now, implying that Jack perhaps was being looked at closely for a period of time at least.
Can you elaborate at all? I don't know. You don't have to give a name, but I mean, is it someone that she knew, or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast. That may not, maybe shouldn't have been. And yeah.
She had the strong alibi.
Just really fast.
If you can dismiss.
An hour later, and we're like, what? And I don't know. I don't know anything about those individuals. I just know they were people that, definitely should have been looked at. And yeah.
I don't know what would prevent you from sharing somebody's alibi.
Yeah, I think that's what we're struggling with. So it's like, we know what we know. We've, fought for Jack, Kaylee's boyfriend, and, we still stand that way. So I did just kind of want to clear that up while we're talking through this ambiguity that, that's not what we're honing in on here.
We don't want to make more victims out of innocent people.
Exactly.
We definitely don't want to do that.
So please leave a comment letting us know what you think. We all want to know what you think. And remember, in making these videos, the goal is always working towards justice for the victims in this tragedy and for their families. Please consider hitting like and subscribe and hitting that bell to get future notifications from this channel. Thanks for watching.